Tan, I know I shouldn't be drinking these, man. It's Sunday. It's the Lord's Day. But Lil beat your ass so good to me. This is like my third or fourth one right here,
I
brother.
was about to tell you to pump your brakes, but you know what you can get you, man?
What?
You get you a BOGO deal.
From Paisanos?
What? That BOGO deal is the real deal.
I think you might be right. I probably need that. Put something on this, man. That's where you use the online code BOGO Pizza, right?
Yeah, man, you get you one pizza and get the second pizza for equal or lesser value for free.
I'm going to need more than that. I'm going to need me about 4, 5, 6 pizzas right now. Put something on it, baby.
Hey, you see, I'm over here, man. I might take a slice or two.
But what about Lil beat your ass?
Yeah, what?
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical
Santana Moss Show podcast with a special guest, Tanner, man. I had to write this down.
He's so special.
It reads so long. Super Bowl champion, 4-time Pro Bowler, 2-time All-Pro. You know he ain't missed many games, and they say the best ability is availability. London Fletcher in the house, ladies.
What's going on? What's going on?
Appreciate you, my brother.
By
No
the
doubt.
way, College Football Hall of Famer, London Fletcher. in
No,
the
man, that's
building.
still.
How about that?
Yeah, it's still surreal.
Wow, congrats on that, my
Appreciate
brother.
it.
I didn't even hear about this school. I'm not going to lie to you.
No, I
never heard of John Carroll.
I was waiting to get London in here because I'm like, I played with this joker. I never look watching London for years, man. I would have never thought London went to a school that I'd never heard of.
Never heard of.
I was going to ask you, like, you know, and you kind of shared with us a little bit briefly before we got on the show, but you know, what was it like? What was the process like, even getting, you know, picked up by John Carroll?
Yeah.
Like,
Man, it was all right. Let me take you back to high school.
Okay.
I only played 1 year of high school football. I was a hooper. I'm going to the NBA. That's my mindset.
Right.
So football, I just did it just to not have regrets. I had offers for football to D1 schools coming out of high school, but I took a basketball scholarship. Then eventually I transferred from St. Francis, PA to John Carroll. It was close to the house. You go from Division I to Division III, you don't have to sit out. So like I can play right away. I went in there and wrecked shop on the Division III level. Scouts came in, thought I was going to get drafted, didn't. The Rams called me, hey, you want to come up here and trial for our team? Oh. And from there, I just ran with it once I got the opportunity.
Yeah.
It was just I hadn't had a lot of football even coming into the NFL. You know, my story just wasn't the typical story as far as the road that I traveled.
That's
Gotcha.
crazy.
No, I was doing a lot of reading up on London, and I'm like, man, you know, here's a guy that I shared with you about. People ask me all the time, Tanner, who's your favorite, you know, teammates? And I'm like, man, I no favorites. You know, I'm cool, pretty. I'm one of those guys that sit in the middle, regardless of what group you kind of was in. You can always say Tanner was down with all y'all. I was gonna speak to everybody. I was always cool with everybody. You know, I was that easy guy, but. You know, I had to say, London was one of those favorites because it's not because we hung out.
Right.
No, it's because I can always look him in the eye and know that how he feels, I can see it in his eyes. I knew he was going to give me his all. You know, I knew he didn't have to tell Tanner, come on, Tanner, I need something from you. No, I know my job. And he was a guy that knew his job. He was a guy that, you know, you had rah-rah guys. And I was talking about rah-rah guys. And London wasn't never a rah-rah guy. He was a guy that when he spoke, you know he meant it. But you can watch him from what he did on the field alone and follow him.
He led by example.
Led by example. And that's what I was about. I was a guy that you weren't going to hear much from me. At the end of the day, I'm going to go out and do my job. At the end of the day, whatever happens, at the end, if you win, lose, or draw, I did my job. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I hope everybody else can go out there and do it collectively with me. But I'm going to handle my business at first.
How do you feel when you hear that about yourself? And then how was Tanner as a teammate?
I that's what I wanted to be as a teammate, a guy who you can count on. You know, you mentioned not missing the game. I didn't want to let y'all down.
Yeah,
man, I didn't want to let my teammates down. Think about Tanner. You know, mostly your number one receiver. They're typically divas.
Yeah.
They're just receivers. The ones I was used to.
Yeah.
They all had a little attitude. I can remember Tanner, legs banged up, hamstring, growing, all kind of stuff. Tanner probably could have sat out of practice, no problem. They still would have played him. Man, he out there throwing back passes. He passed on his hamstring.
I'm glad somebody paid attention.
Yeah, and so I can remember watching. I'm watching you getting ready. I'm like, this dude he loves to be out there playing football.
Yeah.
Man, barely he got compression shorts.
Yeah.
All that
That's
kind of
crazy,
stuff.
man.
Wow.
It's sending chills to me just listening to him because I tell these stories time and time again. Like, I don't know, I don't understand what I see or what I hear from other guys who are the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This thing was hard for me to be in this position. It was hard. Like, coming through high school, I wasn't the guy. I had to earn that. I remember my head coach telling me my senior year, "Are you ready?" Hell, you mean I'm ready? Yes, I'm ready. I've been here for 3 years.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're a starter, and you just asking me this question. So it was a privilege always. It was always a privilege. And I remember that privilege being taken away from me my rookie season. And I used to always sit there and say, what if, man? What if I was able to have a chance to start off like other guys, not being injured, not having to sit out a whole year, not having to lose the weight that I gained from sitting on my behind, and to have that opportunity. Anytime something bothers me, man, I'm going to take care of this later, man. Right now, I want to be out with my guys. And I just felt like, if you're available, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they can count on me, if they can trust me, regardless, if I'm not even 100%, if they can trust me, then I can always have this job. And that's what I was about. And that's why I say he was like a favorite of mine, because I've seen London not be London at times. You can see this guy always flying around. I told you, y'all asked me a question earlier, talking to Oscar and Rob earlier. They say, what was London like? I say, you watch him in pregame. Or not pregame, but you watch him through walkthroughs, you knew what type of player he was because it was always fast. He was going to pay attention to detail. He was the guy that makes sure he has his job down, and he was the quarterback of the defense. So
He knew
made
where to line people up.
everybody was at.
Yeah.
And when you watch them play, you're like, okay, that's our leader. That's why he's in that position, because, he leads by example, but also would say something to you if you're out of line.
For you guys, what is Dallas week like? As a player, and even now.
Oh, my gosh, it's crazy. I remember when I first got to the Redskins, everything, and it's not the team, it was just fans in general. Some fans say, you guys can go lose 14 games, but you better win 2. You better beat Dallas.
I've heard that before.
I've heard people say that to you, Tanner.
Don't care what happens, as long as you beat Dallas. I was like, wow. Okay. And then you got actually playing that atmosphere, and I played in RFK. I didn't get a chance to play in the Fed like you did, Tannenbaugh. It's RFK, and oh my God, the stands was just like, wong, 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 wong. And truly, we had a 12th man when we played there. And then Dallas always had their 12th man when we played them in Dallas. So this is probably the biggest games of the year for either team, really.
What's it like now for you? Because, you're involved with the Alumni Association, of course. You're a former great. I mean, I see you at the games. I've talked to you myself. What's it like now for you, Dallas week?
It's a little different because now I'm a fan of the game. I'm a fan of watching. I'm cheering for my team, but it's just a different feeling. You're just getting prepared for the game as opposed to watching the game, and it's just completely different from me watching the field as opposed to me being on the field. It's a whole nother type of butterfly thing that happens. But if it's a close game, all of a sudden you feel those same butterflies come back into your stomach, and you feel like you're playing.
Tanner, man, they call you the Cowboy Killer.
Yeah.
Every time I'm out with you in this city, you get big love for what you did with the team.
Cowboy Killer.
Everybody brings up Cowboys. So what was it like for you as a player this week?
I mean, honestly, man, this was the one week I knew I was getting off. No question, I'm getting off this week. And I hate to say that because as a player, I had, it really bothered me that out of all the weeks, we prepared differently against these guys because of what I did in 05. And 05 just happened, and fortunately, I'm glad it did because it allowed, regardless of who the coach was that came into these, those hallways in either, Redskin Park in Ashburn, they wanted to make sure 89 was involved heavily in this game. And I'm like, did you guys see anything else throughout of all my career that what I can do, but you wait till Dallas week to fill me up or put the load on me? I appreciate it because every receiver wants the ball. I was the guy that I believe that, being the guy that I was hurt me from being the guy I could have been.
What do you mean by that?
Because I wasn't a diva. They say we divas. I think Gary was a diva.
Tanner, you're definitely a diva.
I heard what
all pretty boys are diva from like birth. So Tanner, you were as a diva.
Hey, Gary could call me what the hell he want to call me. I'm gonna let it because he's a legend and I'll with Gary. But I wasn't a diva, man. I wasn't a diva because I didn't cry for the ball.
Right.
Guys used to be like, damn, Tanner, you're not involved. And I used to basically look at the coaches like, you stupid as heck. You stupid as heck to have me involved in your offense and not feed me early and often. And I went through games where I didn't get balls that time. I didn't even get an attempt.
And it's so true that he never did ask for the ball.
I found other ways to be valuable to my team because I said, hey, I don't want to never make this game about me. I feel like making it about me would be doing something outside of being me. So I appreciated Dallas week because I knew, 1, the city was ready. 2, the coaches was going to be ready. And 3, I'm going to have a heavy load.
It's probably a good thing I wasn't your teammate. Because this would have been, I've been like, Tanner, every damn week you need to make the game about you.
That's right.
Because at the end of the day, it's all about the outcome.
Yeah.
Right.
If making a game about you gets us a win, I mean, even one time when Joe was coaching, I came out there and I gave him a little pep talk. And when I finished up, I was like, Santana, you need to ask for the damn ball more. That's exactly what I said. Straight word for word.
You know what? Before we go any further, I'm glad he mentioned that because the other day, you know, and we normally get into what I've done, you know, throughout the week. Last week I went to PBS to do this show that's going to be aired on PBS. It's talking about Washington in the 2000s. Mm-hmm. They didn't ask no other Redskin to come. They asked me, and I was privileged, like, oh. And they asked me about the year when Sean passed, and I told them, I said, before Sean died, I shared stories with them about the moments up to his death that we was kind of getting to that point. We was hurt at the same time. We already shared the same row on the plane going to games. We already had a locker next to each other. Now we hurt at the same time. We in the locker room talking to each other every day, getting treatment. And we also sat by each other in the big team meet room. I'm like, me and Sean was starting to grow so close, sharing stories, experiences about the game, different things he saw in my game, different things I saw in his game. And I remember feeling down that year because I was pissed off. You know, and I let it be known on that show that I was pissed off with the quarterback play. Not to say that our quarterback wasn't playing well. I just didn't feel like he meshed with me well enough. And before I could even make a play, I was so mad that I wasn't making a play. And I was down on everything that I could possibly be down on, and then Sean passed away. And it was like a wake-up. It was a wake-up saying, like, you around here pissed off about this, and look what happened. You know, it's many other things to be down about. Now I'm really down. And, you know, beyond being down on that and everything else, Gary came out to speak to the team. And Gary, I was sitting there on the knee right in front of Gary, and he asked, where Tanner's at? And he like, bro, what's up? And he didn't call me out in no fashion that I couldn't take as a man. He just said, basically, I'm waiting to see that dance. I mean, I can't wait to see that first down dance on first down. That's my dance. And I'm waiting to see it. I haven't seen it enough. And I woke up. I said, you know what? That was what I needed. And he just spoke of that. That was what I needed. I needed someone to call me out on what I was going through at the time. And to me, that's when I changed and said, you know what? It's not about me. It's about this team. And I put everything behind me. Screw what the quarterback is doing. Whatever he throws to me, I need to catch. However he throws, I need to catch it. And whatever time they give me the chance to be that guy, I just need to accept that. And that's when I put that behind me.
I don't know about you, Tanner, but in my lifetime, and I've said this to Gus before, every time I meet someone and get to know someone from that Pennsylvania, that Pittsburgh area, right? They're always tough as nails.
Yeah.
Always. I don't know if it's the Iron City beer. I don't know what it is. Something in the water. They're always tough as hell, man. Yeah. And so for me, you know, I've asked him this before, but just your upbringing and growing up, you tell some great stories, too, about your dad, your old man, God rest his soul, and how he raised you. Why is it everyone from that area is just tough as nails, Gus?
It's blue-collar mentality, man. Our dads were mill guys. They were hard workers. They didn't miss a beat. You know, you didn't see your dad because he was working all the time, you know. And the thing about it is they just made – my dad was one of 15 kids. And you had to be tough. You had to be tough growing up in that family. He was in the military. He worked in PPG for 42 years. I've seen my dad take a chainsaw across his forearm, wrap a cloth around it, and say, I'll go to the hospital when we're finished with the job. And so you just get that mentality growing up, like, yeah, it may be hurt, it may be tough, but we're going to finish, right? And that's the mentality a lot of quarterbacks, a lot of players come from in Western Pennsylvania. You know, it's never going to be easy, and you got to fight for everything you get. And so it's pretty interesting. I mean, I broke my neck in 9th grade playing football. I crushed the 4th vertebrae. I tackled somebody with my head down. I'm like, I'm never playing this game again. Never playing this game again. My dad said, you're going back out there. I didn't actually play.
Wow.
But I went and supported the team. I did things with the team. And lo and behold, in 11th grade, I started playing quarterback. Never played quarterback before. I started playing quarterback in 11th grade. Didn't play defense that year. My senior year, started playing defense and playing quarterback, and just, changed my life.
Wow.
Interesting.
Well, you were tight with Curtis Martin, who's from that area,
I was going to get to
bro.
that. Curtis Martin, you heard the Reeves story.
Yep.
A few more guys from that area. I mean, you're right. Those guys from that area, they're a different breed, and you wonder why. But when you look up their backgrounds, you look at how they were on the football field, it's no questioning, why they like they are because of, the way they bring it in their sport. So just to know that you're from that area, man, that's interesting. Just hearing your story, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So, Gus, I've told you this before, too. So, growing up in my house, Redskins, diehard, both parents, right? Mm-hmm. And obviously, you've given me a ton of great memories in my lifetime before we ever met. But I always tell the story about how my dad went ape you-know-what because he was sick and tired of Heath Schuler as quarterback, and he would scream, "Put Frerotte in the game," and there was all kinds of foul language that I'm not going to say on this podcast, okay? Frerotte gets in, boom, he balls. My dad forever loves this man.
Wow.
So take me back to that time in your life. Were you buying your time? Did you know you would get a shot eventually?
I had no idea. I just knew I had to make the team. That's a fair. I'm 7th round pick. Got to do everything I can to make the football team. Make the football team, 3rd string quarterback, right? I'm doing everything. I'm doing special teams in practice. You just want to be there. Whatever it takes. And I'm throwing after practice, working on my craft. Lo and behold, Heath is hurt. John Freeze plays 1 week, and then the next week, Norv Turner just says, "Okay, it's my first year. We're just going to try this kid out, see what he got." So we're going to go play the Indianapolis Colts. Harbaugh, quarterback, Marshall Faulk, a running back, right? So we're going to Indianapolis, and that Monday, it was Wednesday, we come in, and Norv goes in front of the whole team. He said, "All right, guys, we're going to make a change of quarterback. Gus is going to be the quarterback." That's the first time I heard that. So there's my opportunity now that I've been working so hard for. So, obviously when you're 22 and you got an opportunity like that, everything just nerves start flowing. Then all of a sudden it's the media, DC's massive media, and it just keeps piling on all week. And get to the game and just had a really good game. Threw my first touchdown to James Jenkins. It was a tight end, little stick route, and threw 4 touchdowns that day. It just, went on a roll. Obviously, Heath was the first-round pick, so they got to give him another shot.
Right.
I played 4 games that year. Heath comes back, plays a bunch of games, and the next year they're like, "We're going to open it up for competition." Can't ask for anything more than that.
Yep.
And as a 7th rounder going against a first-rounder, my job is just, hey, just do what you've been doing.
Yeah. Right.
Because something's working. And that's all I ever did was just try to work hard, do the things, that I need to do. And, you let the chips fall where they may.
I got a question about that. Having being in that spot, being a backup, and we talked a lot about how was it for me. I had over 14 quarterbacks throughout my career. 14 years, 14-plus quarterbacks. I think I had 15. I don't think I counted Colt McCoy, and I played my last year with Colt, so he might be the oddball out that I didn't count. But with all that said, I shared with Travis about the difference of getting adjusted to different quarterbacks. You have left arm, right hand, whatever you want to call it, and you just got to get accustomed to if it's hard, if they're going to be a guy that has, soft touch, accurate or not. What is it like for a quarterback to come off the bench and have to get acclimated into offense with the guys that you haven't really been practicing with in practice? Is it something different to you, or is it just like, hey, find these guys where they're going to be at, watch film or throw the spots? How hard is it for you? Because I know how hard it was for me getting adjusted to those guys, quarterbacks-wise.
It is difficult. So there's a couple things that you got to do. You got to take as many scout team reps as you can, and you got to go. What Darryl Green taught me when I was a rookie was the best thing ever happened to me. Darryl Green said, "Look, you're not making yourself any better by throwing to the circle guy the coach has circled on the scout team play, right?" He said, "You're not making me any better by throwing to the circle guy." He said, "Read the defense, throw it to who you got to throw it to because you're a quarterback. That's what you got to do. You got to read the defense, throw it to the open guy." He said, "And play it like it's a game every day." And he said, look, if they come and say something to you, just come see me. We'll take care of it.
Wow.
So D Green.
OG.
D Green.
That's dope.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And think about that. He said, look, don't listen. Because you know it.
Yeah.
Scout team,
Trust
they
me.
just circle to throw it to this guy. And it's cover 2, and they want you to throw it deep.
And you get killed for that.
Yeah, then you're teaching yourself bad habits and all those things are happening. So you got to take the scout team reps and you got to play it like a game. And then the other thing you got to do is when you get a chance in practice to throw you routes versus air and maybe some 7-on-7, you got to take it serious. You may not want to go hard.
Yeah.
Right? But that's when the veterans got to step up and say, no, he needs to go hard, because if he doesn't and we don't get the timing, and if our starter gets hurt, then the timing is bad. But you got to get those reps so that you've thrown, a comeback or a dig or whatever the offense you're in. You know, Randy Moss was different. He'd just say, I'm going to throw my hand up. And I'd say, okay, I'm going to throw as far as I can. Because we played Detroit, he did that like twice.
Wow.
And he just had that. He was allowed to do whatever, And you get down the goal line, we had all our signals, and you could throw him whatever you want.
All right, let's do taking L's. Gus is going to take it this week, Tana.
Oh, man.
So I always said if I met Gus,
let me get a drink.
and we get a chance to interview him, I'm going to let him tell his story of the headbutt on the wall.
Please do.
Please, sir, the floor is yours.
So it's a year where we're having some difficulties with the Redskins, and Norv and I and Mike Martz came in. He was the quarterback coach, and we were having some kind of problems, right? We weren't getting along great. And so the whole thing we've been talking about the whole podcast. And so we're playing the Giants, which is obviously a big rival for the Redskins. We're in the Giants. And it just felt like so much pressure on me, right?
Yeah.
Just all this weight on my shoulders and everything. And we drive the ball down, run a touchdown in, and I'm just like, it's all gone, right? You're just in that moment. You finally, all the hard work you put in and getting the coaches off your back, you score a touchdown, and I just continue running right through the end zone, right to the wall. And so I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to jump off the wall, just run into it. And I don't know what I was thinking, but when I came, my head went forward, hit the wall, and turned around and was, I got a stinger from doing that. I mean, I'm a quarterback. I don't hit anybody. And then I turn around, and Jamie Asher, who was my tight end, slaps me right inside of the head. Like right after that happened, and I'm like, all right, this does not feel good. I'm over on the bench, and I'm like, okay,
Like woozy.
I'm like, well, no, I wasn't woozy. I didn't get a concussion or anything. I was just like, God, this is just killing me. Like I got to start getting stiffened up, and if it was my left shoulder, I would have been able to play.
Yeah.
So didn't play. Obviously they say, oh, he broke his neck and had all these problems and none of that. So they take me. They made a big deal out of everything, and come back and Norv wants to fine me $10,000 for conduct detrimental to the team.
What?
And this is the next day. I'm in meetings. I'm fine. I play the next week, right? So, and obviously all the media stuff, and it's playing everywhere. And you just got to learn. If you think about dealing with adversity, and I tell people all the time. I said, look, I played 5 years and dealt with the worst adversity I've ever had in my life, besides a member of my family dying or something like that, and was able to go on and play another 10 years. I said, people don't understand how hard that was, right? That I was in one of the major sports markets in the world and had that happen to me in front of, I think it was the biggest game. It was in front of like 65 million people or something saw it. And it's on ESPN every week. I'm sure you can catch it anytime you want.
They play it over and
the
over.
Junkies, obviously put it on every time I'm on their show. But it's just the adversity that I had to go through, getting through that. And then not only dealing with myself, but dealing with my family, my wife, my kids, everybody always saying something about it. Yeah. And so there's two ways to handle that. And my upbringing was, I'm the underdog. I'm always going to work hard. I don't care what happens to you. And the next play is the most important play.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the mentality I went with it. People are going to say shit to you all the time, tell you suck, tell you you're not good, you shouldn't be on the team. People tweet it at you, people say stuff. And so if you listen to them, that's what you're going to be.
Exactly.
Right? And I never listened to that stuff. Yeah. Even though I knew probably was the end of the,
Sure.
with the Redskins.
Yeah.
But I was going to start a new chapter in my life and keep moving on.
That's cool, man.
And the way I look at it is it's no different than when you leave football.
Right.
You got to start a new chapter. So it taught me a lot on how to deal with all these things. And, people can be nasty.
He took an L.
Wow.
That was my L, man. That was a big L.
But he got a dub out of it.
You got a dub out of it.
From it,
But I still take an L. Probably every show I come on or whatever, I'm always taking an L. So I got to turn it into a dub, right?
That's why I wanted him to
but that's the
give
first
his
time
take.
me hearing the story, from his perspective of it. And trust me, I was the guy on the outside looking in. I was in New York, I believe, at the time. And the first thing we heard was you broke your neck doing that.
The media went nuts.
He broke his neck.
The media
did he
went
not
nuts.
check the wall to make sure it was soft enough? Who knew what went on with that? But that just goes to show you prime example of someone taking something so small and blowing it up out of proportion, and then it calls you to, a little, especially a person that has to deal with that for the entirety of his life.
I can't believe they fined him for that.
And then
they wanted to. Wanted to.
It's crazy.
But,
that's crazy.
And that goes back to the whole winning profile thing, right?
Yeah.
It's like, okay, when a guy is down or is having pressure, what do? Do you make it worse for him?
Right.
And I learned so much, and I had to learn this personally with my son because he wanted to play quarterback, and I was coaching him how my dad used to yell at me, right? Mm-hmm. And it was tough. Like growing up with my dad was tough. Like it was never about what you did right, it was about what you did wrong.
Right.
And so I found myself with my son in 9th grade doing a lot of those same things with Gunner because he was a quarterback. Mm. And I said, look, I just came to my wife one night and said, I got to change.
Yeah.
Wow. He hated playing quarterback because of that. Mm-hmm. And I said, I don't want to lose my relationship with him because I'm being an asshole.
Right.
And I look back at what happened with me is like, if you have somebody that is down, do you make it worse for him because you don't like the way he's playing?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Or do you try to bring him out of it and become his friend and do things that help him?
Right.
And I feel like
him.
Right, I feel like I didn't get that from the coaching staff when I was at the end with the Redskins.
Man, what a podcast, Tana.
No doubt. Gus brought it.
Man, Santana Moss Show podcast. Gus, thank you, brother.
All right, thanks for having me on.
Merry Christmas to you too, man. No doubt. Santana Moss Show podcast.
Happy Hanukkah, my brother.
Happy holidays to everybody. Peace.
It's a Santana Moss Show. Number 89, hustle all the time. Travis on the right, hot mic on the left. Every single week, it's a lyrical.